Fuck it.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
Hey, mama. If you are a mom and are tired of the wash, rinse, repeat burnout cycle of motherhood, this podcast is for you. If you feel lonely and isolated in your motherhood journey, this podcast is for you. If you feel like you have completely lost your identity since your babies were born, this podcast is for you. If you feel like every other mom has it together except for you, this podcast is for you. My name is Amanda, and I'm a life coach dedicated to teaching every mom the tools she needs to liberate herself off the back burner. I am living proof that a woman can be present and loving to her kids while also being a whole-ass person outside of being that kid's mom. The secret? Learning when to say fuck it.
Hey guys, how are you doing this week? Not gonna lie, it's been quite a week for me. My kids have all, except for one of them, have had even the fourth, they've all just had body things going on, an ear infection, a retainer. It's not a retainer. It's an expander that was in her mouth, fell out of her mouth. Like a random stomach bug that is thankfully contained to, I'll say 1.5 children. And I'll say 1.5 children because the second child really only had it for like an evening and that was it. And she's fine. Periods, bleeding through pants. My one daughter is, she sprained her ankle at the beginning of July, like the 4th of July weekend, and it's still an issue. And so she's been in a boot for 2 weeks, and we had a follow-up appointment with the doctor. And I'm actually remembering right now, as I'm saying that I forgot to schedule the next follow-up appointment because he put her on crutches for 2 weeks. Just all of the goddamn things this week. And dance started up this week, so getting used to a new schedule. It's been a week for me. And it's so ironic, the specific things that I've been going through this week, because it's brought up these very specific, I have to laugh at the universe. It's brought up the very specific types of stressors that I talk about in my Stop Snapping at Your Kids program that launches on the 16th. It's so ironic that I'm going through all of this stuff this week as I'm launching this program to help everybody with all of these specific stressors. And then the universe is like, just in case you have forgotten, Amanda, exactly what this feels like, here's a reminder of what each of these 4 things looks like and feels like. It's just too much. But instead of doing what my old self would have done and just kind of taking it all in and let it affect me and allow it to derail me from launching this program when I said I was going to launch it, from continuing to talk about it, from learning basically through what I was going through, I saw exactly what was happening. And I was like, I just chose to look at it as I'm so grateful that all of this stuff is happening to me this week to give me even more content. And I can put even more into this program that I already had so much built up for. Now I have another layer. And so I'm grateful. And so this week, I wanted to hop on the podcast and talk to you all about all of these 4 different stressor points. When we find ourselves snapping, not only just at our kids, but at just other people in general. If you're partnered, you realize everything they do fucking pisses you off, and you just can't seem to everything that everybody does pisses you off. You're in the state that I'm talking about, and we all find ourselves there. And so that's why I really wanted to launch, because I'm going to do multiple mini coaching packages designed around specific targeted issues. But that's why I really wanted to start with the Stop Snapping at Your Kids one, because it's just so prevalent for all of us. It's right there at the surface. When I was going through it myself and trying to like figure it out before I had all of these tools, before I knew what thought work was, before I knew life coaching existed, what I ended up doing was shaming myself, right? Just talking so much shit to myself, beating myself up, basically making my behavior mean that like I'm a bad mom. I don't have enough patience. Basically, that train of thought, which is basically just like I'm a bad person. And I'm here to tell you, you cannot shame yourself into becoming a better person. You can't beat yourself up into becoming a better person. And I feel like that's where we all end up, though, is just like trying to berate ourselves into being better. But then I was trying to work on just general stress, right? Because I recognize like I'm stressed, just in general, just a generalized stress. And so, just trying to not allow the stress to build up inside of me, talking about it, writing about it in my journal, taking deep breaths, all of those things. But then I still ended up in that cycle of like irritability and snapping at my kids. And so it's so important to realize the specific types of stress that are behind the reason why we end up snapping at our kids. Because as we've talked about so many times, our thoughts create our feelings. So if you're just focused on general stress, like I'm just stressed in general across the board, you're not able to get to the nitty gritty. You're not able to find the thoughts underneath all of that are actually causing the stress, that are actually causing you to flip out and lose your shit. When you can pinpoint it, like I have. So the 4 categories are overstimulated, overwhelmed, feeling disrespected or not feeling valued, and burnt out. So when you can pinpoint, okay, in this moment, I know for a fact I'm just overstimulated. Like I've just been going. Everything is very loud. My brain hasn't had a chance to like relax. And I'm going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And as I'm going to those things, I'm planning for the next 10 steps. My brain is tired. I'm overstimulated. I need a minute to just be without all of the stimulus and hearing mom, 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 overstimulated. So when you can, instead of in that moment being like, I'm just stressed in general, I just need to breathe. Like, yes, you need to breathe, but you also need to name it. You need to name it. So that way you can be like, oh, right. Okay. We need to turn the radio off. Okay, guys, can we please just stop talking for 5 minutes? I just need quiet for 5 minutes. I need to go. I'm going to remove myself from the kitchen, from the family hub. I'm going to go upstairs and close my door, and I need you guys to leave me alone or just go for a walk so you can truly get away from everybody, because I'm overstimulated. My nervous system is like freaking out right now. That's what's going on with me. Versus if you're feeling disrespected, that's a totally different thought process, right? That thought process is, seriously, after all that I've done for you and after all that I do for you, and you have the audacity to talk to me like that, you just don't respect me at all. Those are 2 different types of stress. Completely different types of stress. Both of them are causing you to snap at your kids, but they're totally different, right? That's why it's so important to recognize, like, okay, it's not just, sure, let's just start with generalized stress, but what's underneath that? What category of stress are we in? So that way you can look at the specific thoughts that you're having that are causing your stress, that's building up inside of you, that then lashes out at everybody in anger, just like the mom monster, like, blah. So I kind of dove in really quick with like a specific example. I should have, no, I'm not going to shame myself. I shouldn't have done shit. Should have shown up and talked to you guys. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And this is how I talk to myself. And this is how I want you guys to talk to yourself. Catch yourself every single time you're about to shit on yourself. Reframe that. Be nice to my friend. Be nice to my friend because I love her dearly and you should love her dearly too. So I want to walk you guys through each category so we can really like have a good picture of what each one looks like. So we're just talking about overstimulation, right? If we counted how many times our kids called for us in a day, the number alone would probably just drive me to the brink of insanity. If I actually had a number for that, I don't actually want to know the number because it's going to be a ludicrous number, right? When I say 500 times, it's probably not that far off. So if you think about that, every time someone calls for you, because if you're awake, you're doing something, even if you're not like actively like building something like cooking or, at your desk working, we're always doing something, especially moms. Our brains are always doing something. We are always planning. We are always executing. We are always scheduling. We are always managing people and planning how to manage people. Our brains are constantly buzzing. And also, we're also just like physically doing stuff all the time. So just being called for 500 times a day by these tiny humans is overstimulating all by itself. And this is just one part of the puzzle. That in and of itself is overstimulating. Think about it. Your brain is, if you think about like when you're actually talking to somebody, okay, that's what we're doing when we're thinking. We're just talking to ourselves. We're in the middle of a train of thought. That train of thought is constantly getting interrupted. Constantly. The amount of brain power that it takes to hold what you were just in the middle of doing, pause it, hold it so you don't lose it, address the child who needs your attention right now because they can't find their fucking shoes. They can remember that 6 months ago, you said maybe we could go to Dairy Queen after dance and then we didn't do it, but they have no idea where their fucking shoes were and they just took them off of their feet 5 minutes ago. I don't understand, but help them find their shoes that were right in front of their face and then go back to this thought process. And then that same thought process gets interrupted again. And you do that exact same scenario over and over and over and over again. That is enough in and of itself to drive any fucking person crazy. It's overstimulation. Your brain is like doing way too fucking much all at once, all at the same time. And then you add in like sensory overload. Kids are loud. All their toys are loud. Their devices are loud. And then they lose the earbuds that you bought for them. So you hear their device, you hear all the fucking TikToks and YouTube shorts that they're watching. It just echoes throughout the goddamn house because they lost their goddamn earbuds again. Very specific example. I know. I might be currently living in that again. The car. Being in the car with them is so loud. It's so loud. There's just a lot of sensory input and then all the fighting. Their voices are usually too loud. My 7-year-old, her normal voice is yelling. Like that's just her baseline. So we already have the overstimulation piece of like our brains constantly getting interrupted. You add in that sensory overload piece. It's just too much. And then when they're younger, they're constantly touching you. If it's a baby, you're holding the baby all the time. I don't know what your babies were like. Mine never liked to be sitting on their own for very long. I was wearing them most of the time. And then they're toddlers and you're running after them. You're nursing them. Like you're just being touched constantly. There definitely is like I'm touched out point for moms. Especially if you're a stay-at-home mom with those younger ones, holy Jesus, I would be touched out by like lunchtime and had to keep going. So there's all of these different pieces that play into us being just overstimulated. And it gets to this breaking point where we just are snapping. Like we don't have the emotional capacity anymore to like not spaz and be like, what? When someone says mom for the 300th time that day, because it's just been too much. It's all the wanting of us that's wearing us down. So that's area number 1. Area number 2, overwhelm. You feel overwhelmed. Everything feels like too much. Anything that all thoughts that come from overwhelm basically can be like distilled to, this is too much for me. I can't do this. Or like, I'm not capable. I'm not capable of doing this. This is too much for me. It's too much. It's all too much. There's stress at work. There's stress at home. There's stress in traffic. There's stress financially. There's stress relationally with your, extended family. It's all of it comes at you. And when your brain is like in the middle of it, it's like wanting to just give up, because it's like, this is too much. There's no way that we can get through this. So that's like that overwhelming feeling. So when we're snapping at our kids from that feeling of overwhelm, of just like, this is too much for me to handle, the like general thought process is just like, kid, can you not see how much I have going on right now? Can you not see everything that I'm doing right now? All the problems I'm trying to solve. This fight that you're having with your sister is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It means nothing in the grand scheme of life. Can you just stop? Can you guys just figure out your own shit? Because I'm figuring out my own shit right now. It's just like, kid, I can't. That's like basically the thought. That's where we end up of like, I can't. Stop it. Go away. That's overwhelm. And then we have feeling disrespected and not valued. So the two are one and the same and yet a little bit different. So disrespect is so interesting to me because respect really is just a thought. It's just a thought that we have if we think that somebody respects us or not. Because sometimes someone will say something and our brains happen to filter it through this lens of whatever we're going through that day. And we take it personally. We take offense. They didn't mean it that way at all. And you realize that after you say something of like, that's just like really mean. That's really mean. And it hurts me. And it just feels really disrespectful. And then they say, oh my God, that's not what I meant at all. I'm so sorry that it came off that way. And then they explain themselves. And then you realize like, oh, okay, I can kind of see, I can see that point of view. I didn't see that at all before you started talking and explaining yourself. All I saw was you just don't respect me at all. So respect, it really is a thought that we're having. And every single one of us has like different criteria that would need to be met in order for us to have the thought of, yes, this person or this child, this human being respects me. That's why some parents can be stricter than others, because the stricter parent has like a longer list of shit that the kids need to meet in order for them to feel respected, right? But I find myself feeling disrespected by my kids, or I have the thought of disrespect when they ask me for something and I say no, and I explain why. I explain why. I take the time to explain myself and then explain myself again in a different way because they're still not getting it. And then, but they don't drop it. They start negotiating. They start haggling. They just kind of just are nagging the shit out of me in general to try to like break me down, and so that I just relent and say yes. In those moments, it's very easy for my brain to snap into, you are being a disrespectful little shit. I'm your mom and I fucking said no, drop it. But really, once I calm down and I take a step back, I can see it's not that they disrespect me. My kids, I know for a fact that my kids respect the shit out of me. They love me. They know all that I do for them. They can see it, even as young as Ozzy is. She's 7, my youngest. They all, like, they see me and they respect me and they love me very much. Their brains are just coming from this point of view of like, I want to do this thing because this sounds like fun. I don't know why I can't just do this thing that sounds like fun. They're just trying to get the thing that they want. They are absolutely not like making that connection of, mom's a bitch. She never lets me do anything. And I want to get under her skin. Like, that's not where they're coming from at all. They're just their human brains are just trying to get what they want, because that's what we all do as humans. We're all just trying to get what we want. And so in those moments when I'm thinking like they're disrespecting me, it's really just me taking their persistence personally. If I'm being super honest with myself, which I can get to once I calm down, I'm taking it personally that in that moment, they're not seeing the bigger picture of, mom does everything for me, so I'm just going to let this go. That's not where their brains are at all. They're kids. They're very like single focused. They're just like, this sounds like fun. I want to do it. That's all they're thinking of right in that moment. That's it. So it's just me taking it personally. And that's so fascinating to me. Now, feeling not valued, like I said, it's similar to disrespect, to feeling not respected, but it's different because when we feel not valued, we feel invisible. So disrespect is more like, that's more of like a power struggle, like an ego power struggle. And then not valued feels like we just feel like invisible, like nothing we do matters to anybody. No one appreciates us. It's more of an emotional spot to be in. So this, when we snap from here, it looks like you come home from work and let's say you're partnered and you're or you're not partnered, but you come home from work a little bit later than normal. You had a really long day at work and you're exhausted, and you walk in and the kitchen sink is full of dirty dishes. Like no one did the dishes. No one unloaded the dishwasher and then reloaded it with the dirty stuff. And we're like, the snap for us is, it sounds like, seriously, like no one could do the dishes. Why am I always the one who has to do the fucking dishes? I do everything. Why can't you guys see that I do everything? Why can't you do this one little thing for me? But again, they weren't thinking of us at all. Like not in the way that our brains are trying to make it seem. They came home and just started doing different things. And they weren't thinking of, oh, what could I do to make mom feel loved? They just assume that we know that we're loved. And they don't necessarily equate it to doing the dishes. But it's interesting, right? When you can take a step back and see like, oh yeah, I was tying my worth to the dishes. I was tying my worth to you dropping something after I said no. After you asked a question and I said no, and then you just dropped, like, I'm tying my worth to that. And that's why it makes me mad, and it makes me feel like no one loves me, no one values me, no one respects me, no one sees what I do. It's really just our thoughts. And then the fourth area is burnout. And that's the fourth one because it's really a culmination of the first three. when they are left untreated. Right? So we've gone too long being overstimulated, overwhelmed, feeling disrespected, and not valued. We've been burning at both ends in those 3 states, just cycling through them for way too long. And we get to a point of burnout, which feels it's just exhausted. You're just exhausted and you just kind of want to give up. You don't see a way out at all. Everything is too much all the time. And you keep going because you're supposed to, and you don't see any other way. And yet you also don't see how you can keep going, but you do. You just feel like you're on the verge of tears all the time. That's burnout. And we get to burnout again because we didn't address the overstimulation. We didn't address the overwhelm. We didn't address feeling disrespected and not valued. And all of those things just build up inside of us to the bursting point of burnout. So I hope you guys can start to see like how important it is to dive underneath this general knowledge of like, yes, I am stressed in general. I have stress every day in general, to really pinpoint, why am I stressed? Specifically, why? Specifically, what type of stress is it? Where is it coming from? What are the thoughts underneath all of that? Because if you don't, you're never really able to fix it. You're not able to solve it. You're not able to be like, okay, I get overstimulated often, so I'm going to make sure that I create pockets of time in my day where I don't have to do anything and I'm not thinking of anything. I learned to turn my brain off for 10 minutes and I find 10-minute pockets throughout my day. I did this for myself because I found that I actually get overstimulated quite often, especially with 4 kids. It gets very loud in this house and in my car. And so I do that for myself, but I wouldn't be able to find that fix if I didn't first realize, oh, I'm overstimulated. I'm not just stressed. I'm overstimulated. That's why I designed this mini package, this course, with all of these targeted pinpoints and specific things for you to do when you're feeling overstimulated, specific things for you to do when you're feeling overwhelmed, specific things for you to do and to work on inside of yourself when you're feeling disrespected or not valued, and specific things for you to do when you're feeling burnt out so that you can actually solve this problem for yourself. Because you can feel better. I am living proof of that. I'm living proof of it. And that's why I started my business, so that I can help other moms. Because if I can do it as a single mom of 4 girls, most of whom are competitive dancers, anybody can do it. So you can get 20% off my mini coaching package, which, first of all, full price is the price of eating out with your family for one time. Like one time of eating out with your family is the cost of this mini package. You get audio lessons on these specific issues that I just outlined for you. Plus you also get 4 weeks of Voxer coaching with me. So Voxer is a walkie-talkie app, and this is the perfect on-the-go coaching for the busy mom. And I know this because I'm a busy mom and I fucking designed it. Because think about it. How often have you put off making an appointment for yourself? Whether it's a hair appointment or a dentist appointment or an eye appointment, you're using the same old glasses prescription from 3 years ago and you ran out of contacts a year ago and you just haven't made the time to make that eye appointment anyways. Because the idea of putting one more goddamn thing in our calendar is just a little bit too much. And so we put it off, especially if it's something for us, because we're just like, I'll be fine. We put ourselves off. And you know what? Fuck that. Fuck that so hard. You can get the help that you need to start designing your life the way you want it to look like, the way you want it to feel like. You don't have to feel stressed and overwhelmed every fucking day until your kids are adults. That doesn't have to be your existence. It's not my existence at all. And it doesn't have to be yours. And you don't have to wait until you can figure out how to carve out an hour, a consistent hour every week in order to get the help that you need to coach with me that way. You can do coaching this way instead. So you can go into Voxer at any point of your day. It doesn't matter what time zone you're in. It doesn't matter what you're doing during your day. You could be at the grocery store. You could be waiting in the dentist office for your kid's dentist appointment, right? Not your dentist appointment. You could be waiting for your kid to get out of hockey, dance, karate lessons. Anywhere. You can be anywhere. And you can hop in Voxer and be like, Amanda, I'm feeling super overwhelmed today. It's just too much. I can't do this. I actually can't do this. I need your help. And then I'll hop in and I'll be like, bitch, I got you. And I'll respond. And we go back and forth until your brain is not freaking out at you anymore. Until you feel like a normal fucking person who can be reasoned with. And we can help you. I can help you. And we together collaboratively as a team can figure out what you can do to get yourself out of that feeling of overwhelm. But you can go in there at any point of the day, at any time of the day. I'm not going to respond at midnight. Okay. There's like some boundaries there. I hop in every Wednesday. So you can put whatever you want into the chat. It's a private chat between me and you. It's not a group chat. And have all of your thoughts, all of your worries, all of your concerns, all the things that you're struggling with, that you need help with. I'll go in there on Wednesdays and respond to you. It is the perfect coaching container for moms because you take it with you wherever you go. And all of the audio lessons, they're just going to be in your email inbox waiting for you. You listen to them when you have time. You don't have to schedule anything, and you don't have to wait to get the help that you want so that you can have the life that you desire. You can have it now. There's no excuses whatsoever. You have nothing to lose and yourself to gain. So sign up today. Even if you catch this after the promotional 20% off is over, it's still so stupid affordable because I've made it that way because I want to help you. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week.
Are you living your one wild life to the fullest? You're not? Why the fuck not? What are you waiting for? The time to live is now, mama. Do not wait until your youngest is in college. Let your dreams hire me for an hour so I can explain how I can help you achieve any goal in your life. You've put yourself off long enough. It's time to pour into you. The link to schedule your 60-minute complimentary consultation is in my show notes. Join the community of Fuck It Moms by following me on Instagram and Facebook at Fuck It Mothering. That's fuck without the U. So FCK It Mothering. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss your weekly encouragement. And please rate, review, comment, and share. All of these things help with the algorithms, so that way when other overwhelmed moms are looking for encouragement, they can find me. Every month, I give away one of my favorite books and a Starbucks card to a lucky winner. All you have to do to enter is write a review or tag me in social media when you share an episode. See you next Sunday, gorgeous.